Okay, today's live. We'll give it just another minute before we get started. Make sure we're straight up 1 p.m. But I am so excited about today's question. So um, it's one of the best. Actually, it's one of the best. So let's go ahead and dive in. Get started right now. Actually, I got two questions. So let me address the first one, the quickie one first. Um, I got a call from one of the members saying that the website wasn't accessible, and it wasn't. Uh, the my hosting company who hosts my website, the training website, everything, they had moved to new servers, and everything was down. But everything should be back up and running. It looked like everything was working again by yesterday, late afternoon, early evening. So if you're having any trouble logging in, just let me know and I will see what we can do. But anyway, it all should be working again. So now let's get to the other question, because honestly, this is one of the best questions anyone could ask. It's almost like the meat of what we're doing here, the heart and soul, the what makes us different? Why is StoryShift different from other things? So let's talk about this. The StoryShift technique is based on tapping. And if you're familiar with tapping, a lot of you are, a lot of you have heard of EFT. In fact, that's actually what I learned first. I learned it directly from Gary Craig, who developed it. And he developed it by modifying an earlier form of tapping called TFT, thought field technique. And I studied with Gary late 90s, maybe 2000, early 2000, somewhere right in that time frame. Studied with him, got certified in EFT. But one of the things he talked about was that he had developed EFT by modifying. He wanted to be simpler. TFT was very complicated. So he wanted it to be simpler, easier for the average person to do, but he also wanted it to be more effective for him personally. And he pretty much just encouraged us to do the same thing with our own practice. So for me, right out of the gate, EFT was helpful, but it didn't last. And I was personally looking for lasting relief and release. I didn't want to keep addressing the same feelings and the same issues over and over and over. And despite EFT being incredibly helpful in the moment, it didn't have the lasting effect that I was really looking for. So research is my jam. I love it. But even before that, I StoryShift tapping just came to me one day, and it was an absolute utter moment of frustration, pure frustration. I was frustrated that the results weren't lasting. That was one thing. But I was also I was angry in the moment. I was so angry in the moment. And I knew I just needed to like get it all out, all of it, whatever it was. So a couple of things happened. First of all, I didn't use the setup phrase. In EFT, that setup phrase is setting up a script to run, even though whatever the problem is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay. A couple of things that bothered me about that. One is emotions aren't scripted. They're messy, they're wild, they just erupt sometimes. So running a script, my intuition was saying, why would you run a script for something that's so totally unscripted? And that made sense. The other thing is, if tapping is a clearing mechanism, we really had to go there. We had to bring it all up and out. EFT for me tended to be very sedate. Even though I'm really, really angry, I love and accept myself. I'm angry. I'm so angry. I have this anger. It was very sedate. And it wasn't actually connecting with what I was feeling in the moment. Disconnect. disconnect. And that's not what tapping's meant to do. The other thing in traditional EFT, well, not all versions, but some versions of traditional EFT is at the end, they use a turnaround phrase of some kind. So, you set this up, you're tapping, I'm so angry, I have all this anger, I'm feeling all this anger, I've really got all this anger, I acknowledge my anger. And then towards the end, to close out the session, a lot of practitioners will teach, say, I'm letting go of this anger. I'm letting go of this anger. This anger no longer controls me. I'm replacing this anger with something happier, something like that. The downside to that is that the healing may not be complete. So it's like you're sending this false message that the tapping job is done, and it may not be, because tapping is a lot like any kind of physical sport. My sister's a runner. I like to work out. I like Pilates best. I'm a long distance, I'm a hiker. I'm not so much a long distance one anymore, but any kind of physical sport, your body is revved up and it keeps burning calories. It keeps utilizing the effort, the exercise, the energy, and it expends it naturally. Another way to look at it is water skiing. When you're water skiing and you're just zooming along, if you let go of the rope, you actually don't just plunge. You go along and along and along and along, and naturally expend the energy you have built up as you're zooming along behind the boat. Tapping is a lot like this. If we don't shut it down, it will keep doing its job until it has expended everything, till it has released everything and provided relief. Another important thing is if we don't shut it down, actually just in general, not even shut it down or not, tapping works just like acupuncture. Research has shown that non-invasive forms of engaging your meridians, engaging your nervous system, like acupressure and tapping, can work just as well as acupuncture. So what it does is go throughout your nervous system, the tapping, just like acupuncture and acupressure. It'll go searching throughout your nervous system for similar instances of similar feelings, similar emotions. So if I'm tapping on anger, it's not going to find every single instance in my whole entire life that I was ever angry, but it is going to find similar instances of similar anger for similar reasons or similar feelings. That's the biggie, for similar feelings. And as you're really tapping on this and giving voice to all of those feelings, it's scanning throughout your nervous system and addressing all those similar ones. So when you're tapping on something in the moment, you can also be clearing out your emotional backlog. So StoryShift style tapping is always a twofer. You're getting what's happening in the moment, and you're getting the full nervous system, full body scan for similar instances. And in this way, we're able to get it up and out. We're not going to have to keep solving the same problem over and over. We're not going to experience the same exact emotions over and over. Now, there are layers. So it may sometimes seem like you're doing the same emotions, but it's actually a different piece of it, a different layer of it, a different component of it. It didn't match, which is why StoryShift tapping becomes a lifestyle. It's not that you're not making any progress. You're making tremendous progress, but each and every time you're tapping on a specific annoyance or feeling or sadness or just, whatever that emotion happens to be, is literally scanning your body for similar instances of similar feelings and taking care of those. Now, here's one of the big differences for me. So I think I mentioned that I sort of stumbled on this in a moment of really high feelings, just exaggerated, accelerated feelings, and I was angry. So instead of doing this or doing the turnaround, I just let it rip. I'm so angry. I am so mad at you. My God, I can't believe you did this. How could you? How could you do this? This is so mean. This is so stupid. I mean, come on. How could you do this? How you know better than this? You know better. You know better. I am so mad. I am so mad. We've talked about this. You know better. This is my boundary. You. I'm so mad. And you know where it went? I hate you. 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 I didn't hate this person. I don't hate this person at all. What I really hated was what was happening in the moment, but in my feelings. Feelings are messy. They're raw and real. They're unscripted. We cannot control them, but we can very much learn how to work with them. So in that moment where I was screaming, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, what I hated was that I felt like this person had made me angry. It was their fault. They did this to me. But by giving voice to that feeling, it felt heard, it felt seen, it felt acknowledged, and it did not feel like it had to take up residence in my body where it would short circuit and just fritz that feeling over and over and over again until it was seen and heard and acknowledged. Remember, feelings are messengers. That's what they are. They are messengers. They are constantly giving us information, wisdom, guidance, feedback about our environment. Now, environment can be all of this, can also be all of this, but those emotions are giving us information. Their job is to deliver that information. It could be a nugget of wisdom or guidance. It's actually part of your intuition, but its job is to deliver all of that, pass on through the body. It is not meant to get trapped in the body. But when we push it away, stuff it, negate it, judge it, any of those things that prevents us from actually just feeling the feeling, acknowledging the feeling, admitting that we feel this feeling, that's what lets it say, I have delivered my message and I'm out of here. Well, that's not what we're taught to do, is it? No, we are heavily conditioned and culturalized to do all those other things. Let it go. Just be positive. Just stuff it down. Pretend you never felt that. That's what we're taught to do. That's what we're conditioned and culturalized to do. And that is why so many of us feel anxious. We experience that backlog, that build up, all this stuff that's short circuiting and fritzing. We experience that as anxiety, as stress, as just built up emotions. And the next time this person annoys us, it's just, going to start bursting out again. Have you ever been in an argument with somebody? Yeah, we all have. But have you ever been in an argument with somebody when all of a sudden they are like, they've got this checklist of everything you ever did wrong, everything, and they're calling it all up? Well, first of all, that's not fighting fair, even though we all do it from time to time. But what that's really telling you is that they've never dealt with those feelings. Most of us don't know how. We're never taught. Many of us grew up in homes where it was not okay to give voice to our emotions. It was more like, shh, calm down, have a cookie, go turn on the TV. We were taught to soothe, which, feels pretty good in the moment, but soothing is a form of stuffing, if that's all we do. And that's how it's possible to grow up in a really good family with really good, loving parents still end up a whole bunch of stuff inside. It's really just, it's part of being human until we learn how to work with those emotions, how to process them. And again, most of us never learned. Most of us didn't grow up in homes where we were encouraged to give voice to our emotions. I mean, our parents learned it from their parents, and their parents learned it from their parents. You know, children should be seen and not heard. Children should behave. Children should make their parents look good. All of those things are all part of our conditioning and culturizing. So what we want to do in StoryShift, what we want to do is, as soon as we feel an emotion just rising up, actually, let me add something right here. The good emotions we enjoy feeling. I mean, that's all part of that positive thinking movement, right? Just think positive thoughts, just feel positive things, replace those thoughts, replace those feelings. We love feeling the good ones and thinking the good ones. It's the not so good ones that really trip us up. Okay. So what we want to do then is when we feel something welling up inside us, I mean, it can be anything from just being annoyed to being full on rage, doesn't matter. Total sadness. There's so many that we've been taught are negative. They're not. We have an entire spectrum of emotions, and they are all meant to help us. They are all good. They are all delivering messages. They are all helping us in their own way. So again, I guess I will start this part about 10 times, maybe not. But anyway, when we start feeling an emotion well up in us, if possible, go somewhere private right then. If not possible, go as soon as you can and just start tapping and say out loud exactly what you're feeling. Exactly. Don't worry about whether it's pretty or proper or positive. Just leave all that behind. Just give voice to every single thing you're feeling. Usually, this takes less than 5 minutes. I mean, once you start practicing, it's probably like 2 minutes, 3 maybe, but you will feel, I feel, and a lot of my clients have also said they feel, it's like this, whoosh, it's like a weight lifted. You feel it physically, almost like a weight lifted, and it's like the emotion's just gone. It's just gone. And you physically feel different. You emotionally feel different. Your cognition feels different. You literally feel different because that feeling finally got the attention that it needs. And that is how StoryShift technique, StoryShift tapping technique works. So I would encourage you to start right now. Don't worry if you fully understand it yet. Just get started. Just start practicing. I am recording a whole new section on how to do the work. The first 2 videos are already in the learning website, learn.anwade.com. First 2 are already in there. I'm working on the 3rd one today, how to do the work. The first one is going to talk about the fundamentals, the foundation, go into more of what I just touched on here. The second is going to go into more on why we do this and what it does for us. And the third one, the one I'm working on today, is actually going to be more of a demonstration. We're going to connect the dots, some of what I just did right here, but it will go into more of that. And it's going to be right at the beginning of the course, the self-paced course. It's always been sort of sprinkled throughout. Some of the feedback I've gotten, thank you, is that it would be very helpful to have it right up front all together, So it'd be easy to refer to whenever you need to. Go back and watch it as many times as you want. And then as it's sprinkled throughout, it would make more sense. So that's exactly what we're doing. The third video, it probably won't be ready today, but hopefully by the weekend, fingers crossed. So anyway, don't wait for it. Just start practicing right now, because StoryShift tapping technique will lead you. And when you get in the midst of the tapping, just let one emotion lead to the next and the next and the next. Don't try to corral it. Don't try to direct it. Just what you're feeling. Let it come up, because that's how it gets up and out. So that's our teaching for today. I will get this recording into the learning website so that you can refer back to it anytime. I'll have the link in the group. Probably send it out an email, because this is a super, super, super important one. So let me know if you have any questions. Please post them in the group, and bye for now.